This canal does not exist, but the strait it would bypass controls 20% of the world's oil supply. Every barrel from Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iraq, Kuwait, and Qatar. All of it passes through a single gap of 33 kilometers, one crisis, one conflict, one decision, and a fifth of all global oil stops moving. Not just oil, fertilizer, plastics, pharmaceuticals, everything the modern world manufactures uses something that moves through this strait. One blockade and hospital supply chains break within weeks. Food prices spike within days. This is the single most strategically vulnerable waterway on Earth, and every nation that depends on it knows it. This is what it would take to build the BY Pass, the Hormuz Canal, what $200 billion could build. Fujairah, the last deepwater port before the Strait of Hormuz. Every tanker not yet through the bottleneck waits here, engines rumbling, crews stranded. On a crisis day, the anchorage swells, 180 ships, steel hulls stacked in lines stretching to the horizon. Each vessel holds millions of barrels, millions of reasons for the world to worry. The queue is real, the numbers relentless. 33 kilometers of waterway stand between these ships and the open sea. Just 33, but the line barely moves. A port official stares at the live AIS feed. He counts them. Supertankers, LNG carriers, chemical ships, all anchored, all burning time and cash. Every hour of delay costs us a fortune, he mutters. And that's before the insurance spikes. The world's supply chain hangs on this invisible thread. 20% of global oil, 1/5 of the world's energy, trapped behind a single maritime gate. The numbers don't lie. 20 million barrels per day, 80% bound for Asia. Hospital supplies, fertilizer, plastics. The modern world stalled by geography and threat. The port's storage tanks fill. Bunkering crews work double shifts. The queue grows. Each hour the risk premium ticks upward. Markets watch, nerves fray. There is no backup. Pipelines to the Red Sea and Fujairah handle a fraction, a mere 2.6 million barrels per day. The rest waits, exposed. The world's most valuable cargo, hostage to a 33-kilometer gap. In the shadow of the mountains, a question takes shape. What if there was another way? What if the bottleneck could be broken? 3 lines on the map: southern, central, northern. Each one a possible escape route for the world's oil. Each one a gamble against the mountain. Survey crews land by helicopter, dragging seismic gear and borehole rigs across rock older than civilization. The southern path, 38 kilometers, cuts through peaks rising 2,000 meters. The shortest line, but the hardest. Fractured ophiolite, unstable slopes, and a web of hidden caverns. One misstep could swallow a work crew whole. The northern option, 28 kilometers, threads through the steepest grades. Fault lines run like scars beneath the surface. Engineers say it is tunnel boring machine country, but the cost climbs with every meter of vertical rock. The central route draws the eye. 32 kilometers, a summit at 650 meters. Balanced. Not easy, but not impossible. The geology here is limestone, riddled with voids. Early boreholes drop to a cathedral-sized cavern at 40 meters. Microgravity surveys confirm it, a hollow big enough to hide a ship. A freshwater lens sits above, the region's last natural reservoir. Breach it, and saltwater floods the aquifer. Risk to every farm and city for 100 kilometers. A geotechnical engineer stands at the edge of a borehole, core sample in hand. She says it is all about what you can't see. Every meter is a question. Borehole logs, seismic refraction, microgravity, each tool maps the invisible. The data points to the central line, fewer faults, manageable peaks, but the mountain pushes back. Caverns, water, fractured stone. The route is chosen, but every answer opens a new set of dangers. The corridor is set, 32 kilometers to break the bottleneck. The world's lifeline, now a line in the rock. But what happens if the mountain refuses to yield? 300 meters wide, 25 meters deep, 32 kilometers of solid limestone, fractured and riddled with voids. The blueprint dwarfs every canal ever built. Excavation, 400 million cubic meters, twice the volume of the Panama Canal, blasted from rock that refuses to yield. A 4,000-page detonation plan. 40,000 separate blasts, each one measured, timed, and monitored by a grid of 3,000 seismic sensors and 800 vibration monitors. Every tremor tracked, every crack mapped in real time. 180 kilometers of new access roads, carved from cliff and scree just to bring in the machines. The logistics sprawl across the desert, hauling fuel, steel, explosives, and water to the heart of the mountains. Engineers run mass haul equations, every cubic meter of spoil accounted for, every risk calculated. The sensor network forms a digital nervous system, watching for slip, surge, or collapse. The numbers are relentless. The mountain pushes back. The scale alone demands an army of support. Is it even possible to move this much earth before the world runs out of patience or oil? Nothing moves until the lifelines are in place. Water, power, shelter. Without them, the mountain wins before the first drill bites stone. A desalination plant rises on the coast, 200 kilometers from the blast zone. Pipes snake inland, feeding tanks big enough for a city. Every drop is counted. Every liter is trucked or pumped over jagged ridges. Generators roar to life, producing 200 megawatts of power, enough to light a small nation. The grid here is a closed circuit. No outside help. Every volt must be made, stored, and spent on site. 10,000 workers arrive by convoy and chopper. Modular camps sprawl across the valley floor. Kitchens, clinics, mess halls, bunkhouses. A city built from nothing, held together by routine and discipline. Heavy lift helicopters drop excavators onto ledges where no road can reach. Flatbeds crawl up switchbacks, hauling drills, compressors, and explosives. Every shipment is logged, weighed, and assigned a GPS tag. No lifeline, no canal. Logistics dictate the pace. Only when the last pipeline is pressurized, the last generator tested, and the last camp bed made do the field crews take their marks. The mountain waits. The countdown begins. The countdown ends at 0. The first calibration blast shatters the silence, 1,000 frames per second, every microsecond caught in digital freeze. Shock waves ripple through fractured limestone, dust jets skyward, and the mountain recoils. Sensors light up across the grid. No cracks beyond the blast zone. The safety team exhales. The path is open. Now the tunnel boring machine advances. 8 meters a day. Steel teeth grind through ancient rock, relentless, methodical. Conveyor belts carry spoil by the ton, hour after hour. Behind the cutter head, crews bolt mesh, spray concrete, and check for water. Every meter lined, sealed, and mapped. The canal floor hardens, 1 meter thick, poured in sections, no shortcuts. Each cubic meter a fortress against collapse. The first lock gate arrives by barge, 65 meters wide, 30 meters tall, 3,000 tons of steel. Cranes swing it into place. The gate drops, sealing the chamber. Water rushes in, held back by the weight of engineering and will. A blast engineer wipes grit from his face and grins. He says, "You only get one shot at the first gate. Get it wrong, the mountain wins." The chamber holds. The canal breathes for the first time. But every gain comes with a question. What price for this breach in the stone? Night falls. Alarms blare. 8,000 workers scramble as the ground trembles beneath their boots. A mass of fractured limestone, 200,000 tons, shears away from the tunnel face, swallowing scaffolds and machinery in seconds. Sirens cut through the dust. Evacuation orders echo down the shaft. Crews race for the lifts, hard hats, respirators, boots pounding steel grating. Shift rosters scatter in the chaos. Dewatering pumps roar to life, forcing 50,000 liters an hour up the shaft, barely keeping pace with the flood. Engineers scan dewatering logs, counting every minute until the surge slows. No one sleeps. The mountain does not care. Nationalities blur: Filipino welders, Indian electricians, Emirati supervisors, each one a number on the roster, each one a risk. The canal's promise is measured in sweat and fear. The mountain pushes back. The work continues. Oil futures drop $8 a barrel the moment the bypass becomes real. The Hormuz risk premium vanishes, gone in a single headline. Insurers scramble. $50 billion in advanced shipping contracts flood the new route, locking up slots years before the first tanker sails. Traders recalculate every risk model. The world's most volatile sea lane just lost its leverage. But the shock runs deeper. $200 billion spent, more than the GDP of Greece, poured into a trench that splits the mountains and dumps its spoil into the sea. A new peninsula, raw and artificial, juts into the Gulf of Oman, reshaping currents and habitats. Coastal ecologists warn of unknown consequences. Mangroves, coral, and fisheries face upheaval. The line between land and water is redrawn by engineering. Sovereignty and stewardship collide. Who controls the new coastline? Who pays when habitats collapse? The canal promises safety, but the cost echoes in every market and every tide. The debate is only beginning. 70 kilometers of rock, 2 billion cubic meters of earth, one canal that does not exist yet. 20% of the world's oil still funnels through a single choke point. The mountain waits. The market watches. The question is simple: how many shocks before someone dares to cut through?